Previously on the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
All right, and then I'm going to bring up Matt Evercool and Chris Horton.
Hello, Concert Room. Thank you for having us. This has been a fantastic convention, getting to chat with all of you and also getting to meet Chris in person for the first time.
Yeah, thank you everyone for welcoming me here to Minnesota. It's just been an amazing weekend, so thank you one and all. And thank you especially to all the organisers. Did such a fantastic job.
I'm glad we were able to give you a real Minnesota winter experience too. Thank you. Be sure to check out the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
And now our story continues.
Welcome, everyone, to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast, live from Console Room. This is Matt in Minnesota.
This is Chris in Minnesota.
And how's your convention going?
It's going really well. It's been fantastic seeing Sylvester McCoy wandering around and being live at the audience, and also seeing and interviewing Lisa Bowerman.
Live on stage, that must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, mildly terrifying, but Lisa is lovely, so yeah, it's good. And how about you, Matt? You've been enjoying?
Very much so. Getting to meet you after having done the show together for 7 years, and the first time we're meeting in person is this weekend.
Yes.
It's just really cool. And the weather, we didn't get as much snow as we were worried about, but it is quite cold.
Yeah, my hair did freeze when I ventured outside today. I have learnt shower etiquette, which is make sure your hair is dried by the time you go outside and expose yourself to minus 20 Celsius.
And I think Lisa Bowerman stepped outside this morning as well to do like an Instagram post where she was just steaming.
yeah, it's cold. It's cold, folks.
But it's warm inside.
It is. It's bigger on the inside. It's warmer on the inside.
And we've been thrilled, too. I mean, in addition to having Chris, you would probably argue is the best TARDIS team.
Yes.
The Dr. Ace and Benny here. All of the convention theming has all been book-focused, from our badges to the pins to the shirts.
Yep.
And it's really a celebration of Doctor Who in all its forms, but especially the books.
Yes.
And Christopher Jones as well.
Yes. Yeah, local comic artist, Christopher Jones, whose work we have read. I think we have read. Yeah. I mean, I know I have.
Yes,
definitely.
He's done work for Titan and Warner Brothers Animation, among many other things.
Yes.
And today the panel is the history of the Doctor Who Book Club, which has been going strong in various regenerations for over 12 years.
Yes.
And the 4 hosts, 2 of which are here, and
yes,
2 guest hosts are here as well.
Yes.
Felicity and Jeff hosted a couple of the episodes of the original podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, over the 12 years or so, we've gone through over 140 Doctor Who books.
Yeah. It's quite
83
impressive.
of which are the ones that we've reviewed.
Yes. And not all of them have been classics, I think it's safe to say.
But even the bad ones can be fun to review.
Yeah, fun is a word that's doing a lot of lifting there. I mean, sometimes it's culturally interesting.
Oh.
You kind of go, yeah, no, these attitudes have changed. Kind of going, well, continuity went in a different direction away from this.
It just makes it more challenging to fit the puzzle pieces together, I think.
Yes.
To be a little more creative. And
yeah, sure.
So a little bit about the background of the Doctor Who Book Club. So the podcast was originally started by Sean Homrig, and he also does the Columbo podcast, and he used to do the TARDIS Tavern podcast. And then he got Eric Stadnick on board, whom we know from The Writer's Room and The Real McCoy. And they did a total of 60 books during the original run, which should have taken around 5 years or so, but in true Doctor Who fashion, they had a couple of mini hiatuses here and there, amounting to like a gap year. So they did 60 books over 6 years. And I like podcasts that change hosts over time, like Stuff You Missed in History Class.
Yeah.
It started with Sarah and Deblina, and now has Holly and Tracy, which... do you listen to that one?
I do. I very much enjoy Stuff from Mr. History Class. Yeah, a lot of the NPR podcasts have changed hosts over time.
Their format for the original book club was a little bit different, though. We do a 13-doctor, 15-doctor now, sort of cycle, and they did a 4-book cycle, which alternated between New Adventure, Missing Adventure, Past Doctor Adventure, and 8th Doctor Adventure. So they did quite a few of the 7th and 8th. Yeah. Which is good, because they have like a...
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of books.
Compared to the others.
Yeah.
And we also expanded that format over time to allow for other types of books. I remember writing into the original Doctor Who book club, asking if they would review Who Killed Kennedy, and Sean said they couldn't because it wasn't technically part of the Missing Adventures.
Yeah.
And we ended up reviewing that one on the show after we kind of expanded the remit a little bit. And I'm really proud of how that one turned out. One of the Easter eggs that we included was audio of all the times the main character, who was a journalist, became part of the show, like calling the Brigadier during the Silurian story and stuff. So Eric and Sean ended their show so they could focus on other projects, some of which we've mentioned, and they posted a wrap-up and graciously offered to pass the torch.
Hello, this is Eric.
And this is Sean.
And welcome to the end of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
Well, it was fun for a while, and while it lasted. That's a horrible way to see it.
And, you know, if you really loved this show, really loved what we did with exploring the books and stuff, maybe you pick up your own version of the show. And you know, the format's just sitting there. It's not like it's copywritten. So if you want to do a book review show, go for it. And maybe fill the void that way. Sean, any parting thoughts?
Keep reading and enjoying everything. There's a ton of books out there. And I think I may be dipping my toe into the pool once in a while because I just have so many things I haven't read yet.
And one last time, happy reading.
Bye.
And you and I were both independently reading Twitter at the time, as it was then called.
And I still call it?
Yes, yes. One thing led to another, and here we are in Bloomington.
Yeah.
One thing I have as a little surprise for you that you may have possibly kind of like figured is I am currently wearing, dear listener, some very exclusive merch. This is the Doctor Who Book Club t-shirt.
Oh.
That I will now stand up and model for the audience.
It's on the back. It says, oh, we're getting twisted in microphone cord here.
Yes.
On the back it says, now in all good podcast places, and some unsavory places too, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes.
Very nice.
That was designed by Lauren, my wife, who does our intros and outros.
Yeah, you hear her on every episode. It's kind of funny going back and listening to the old episodes because you can kind of see the format forming over that first year.
Yes.
Slowly, and then I think by episode 13 or 14, it's pretty much as we do it today.
Yeah, and definitely with better audio, because like one thing, like, yeah, I'm very, very grateful for Matt for his kind of like hard work on doing the editing, and also as well making sure, because like, yeah, the sounds, especially at my end, was always a little bit ropey in the early days, and now I am not embarrassed and wincing when I'm listening to me talking.
And it helps too that we have the exact same microphone.
Yes. In
terms of recording and like the room sound and such.
Yeah.
The original hosts, Eric and Sean, they both participated in our version of the show as well.
Yeah.
We had Sean on in one of the early days as a guest, where he finally got to review an 11th Doctor book instead of a 7th or 8th. And they've both done dramatic readings for us as well.
Yeah.
Sean's reading for Blue Box is particularly memorable. And of course, Eric did the dramatic reading for the Earthlink Dilemma,
Yeah.
or Turlo and the Earthlink Dilemma.
Yeah, and we've had a variety of guest readers over the time, including an author from Short Trips.
That's right, Graham Burke of Reality Bomb.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yes, that was a fantastic kind of honour. Yeah, we have had guest readers and performers from varying places, and so if you want to take part, just drop us a line or contact us via social media, because like we are always keen to have kind of like readers to help.
And new voices to highlight. Two of which, Felicity Brown and Jeff Elston, are here at the convention this weekend.
Yeah.
Not only have they done readings for us, but they guest hosted the original version of the show.
Yeah.
And we also heard an interesting story from Jason Tucker, who is the founder of Council Room. And he said, and it relates back to the book we reviewed last month, The King of Terror.
Oh, okay, yeah.
By Keith Topping. It turns out that Jason went to Demicon, which was before the second Convergence in 2000 with Neil Gaiman. And there was Keith Topping, and he and a few other folks, including Jason, went to Mickey's Diner in downtown St. Paul, which is sadly now closed. Although I did point out to Chris, there's
a fake Mickey's, yes.
out by the airport for tourists. And that all led to Jason getting kind of reinvigorated with Doctor Who and returning to the fold, so to speak, and which led to Council Room. So in a roundabout way, we have Keith Topping to thank for Chris being here this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Keith.
One of the things we may want to just touch on is our theme tune, which is Doctor Who's Swing Jazz version by George C. Music, who has a YouTube channel, where they have done a number of other versions of the theme, including, we can reveal exclusively what our runner-up version of the theme was going to be, which was the John Carpenter version, which may have worked for our Halloween episodes, but I'm glad we settled on Swing Jazz version.
Yes.
Which I was pushing for the John Carpenter version, but I was like, no, you know what, Chris is right.
Yeah. It's nice to have something that has a general refinedness about it, just relaxed and soothing. And because I sometimes, when I'm reading the books for the show, I am sometimes listening to jazz or just general bits of music, and sometimes it's to help me focus, and sometimes because the book is a slog.
It does help get you in the right headspace, I feel.
Yes.
And over the years, we've added a few segments to the show.
Yeah.
So in addition to the book recap and review, we also have a show and tell segment, shamelessly modeled on Verity's Happy Things. And we should mention Verity was so one of the things Council Room has started doing is spotlighting different podcasts over each year. And for their 10th year, last year was their inaugural one, and they chose Verity. Yeah. And this year they chose us.
Yes.
So we're here. So thank you very much, Council Room, for that as well. And we use that to kind of talk about, a recent piece of Doctor Who merchandise or a Doctor Who related experience we had.
Yeah.
Council Room will probably be my show and tell item for next month's book, which happens to be The American Adventures. Yeah. Appropriately enough, which is a 12th Doctor short story anthology with 6 stories by Justin Richards, of which Chris has started reading and I have not.
Yep.
When do you read the...
When do I read them? So I tend to read them early on in the month, just so I have contingency. So that if kind of like life happens, and also as well because I am probably more often than not, I'm the person who chooses the actual section for the reading. And so to give readers time, then I can kind of go, right, okay, do this bit, please. I'm often reading them whilst I'm on tube journeys because I read rather than listen to an audiobook version of some of the books which are audiobooks.
I probably read them as close to recording as possible and more often than I care to admit, and
Yeah.
it was probably the night before
Yeah,
when I finished it. And sometimes Chris is like, "Oh, I picked this for the reading," and I'm just go, "That sounds good." I haven't gotten to that chapter yet, but okay.
Well, I always try to make sure I don't say anything spoilery.
Yeah, you do a great job of
Yeah, when
that.
we're discussing like the readings, because I'm even nervous about saying, "Oh, at the end of chapter 30" or something. But I might sort of say that, yeah, like the Doctor has a revelation.
Something to keep me in, yeah.
Yes.
And then it's usually whatever the most dramatic bit is
Yes.
in that section.
Yes, or it's the bit of the least problematic language.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which we've...
Hello, King of Terror. Yeah.
Or what was another one? Asylum. Peter
Yes.
Darvill. That one. Oh.
What would you say your biggest surprise has been?
In terms of the readings,
Well, not so much the readings, but just like the books that we have read.
biggest surprise, I think it may have been some of the comics, because not that I was dismissive of them, but I probably held the novels in higher esteem, at least in terms of like what counts in terms of my own personal headcanon.
Yeah.
So reading the comics, and I won't want to say which one in case of spoilers, but there's one where the Daleks show up.
Yes.
That was
yes.
very unexpected.
Yes.
And that was, I mean, literally a page turner where I kind of gasped. And I would say that the comics are better than I thought they were.
Fair enough.
How about for you?
I think for me, like the new series books, because I remember I'd read some of the 9th and 10th Doctor new series books, and I wasn't superly impressed, and I had been told that like the quality isn't as good, and like the old version of the show would not do new series books. And then we read Touched by an Angel,
Jonathan Morris.
which is a Jonathan Morris Weeping Angel story featuring the 11th Doctor. It's kind of like The Time Traveller's Wife, and it's very Moffat-y, and it's very poignant, and it's beautiful.
And is largely set in where you went to
University. Yes. And so like the Weeping Angels go to my student union bar, and which is odd. And so I was kind of going, am I enjoying this because I recognize these locations, or am I enjoying this because this is a very good book? And then I went, you know what, like just relax and enjoy it.
And it was very, I would say it's very much the latter, because
Yeah.
I recognized a lot of locations in King of Terror from going to Gallifrey 1 in Los Angeles, and it did not contribute to my enjoyment of that.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite dramatic reading? I would point to the ones done by the Drinking Hat as some
Yes.
of my favorites, which would have been Ground Zero and the Star Trek crossover.
Assimilation, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am very lucky in that two friends of mine, a married couple, one of them is a West End performer, which helps.
Who's taken the lead as Pretty Woman as an under...
She's not been the lead in Pretty Woman. She
Okay.
has been but part of the Pretty Woman musical cast, and she also was in Toronto recently with a Roy Orbison musical.
Oh, cool.
Well, I don't think she'd ever really seen the show much, and we were getting her to play the part of Ace, so I said, just do your EastEnders audition voice. And
it was perfect.
Yeah, she nailed it.
Sounded just like Sophie.
Yes.
Over the years, we've also done a mix of special episodes, including the one you're listening to now.
Yes.
A kind of a mix of interviews, obituaries, sadly, with Uncle Terrence.
Yes.
And our April Fool's reviews.
Yes.
Which started as kind of a two-hander with our spouses,
Yes.
Matt and Lauren.
Yes.
And has since kind of taken on a life of their own.
Yes, because Lauren was like, yeah, I don't want to be voluntold what to do, because Lauren, my wife, she's Australian, kind of in the Janet Fielding mode. So you may do the occasional steerage, but you certainly...
One of the guests for one of our April Fool's episodes, Elijah Kraling, was here this week, and I don't know if you had a chance to meet him.
No, I haven't. Oh, cool.
So you may have met him at Doctor Who Tavern.
Yes.
Which
yes.
Doctor Who Tavern is a local meetup of like a subset of fans modeled after the tavern in London at the Fitzroy?
Yeah, the Fitzroy.
That was, throughout the 90s, and we would hold it on the same day, kind of the first Thursday of the month.
Yes.
And now we can say we've officially had a doctor come to our Doctor Who Tavern.
Yeah.
Because Sylvester McCoy showed up and hung out with us for a while, which was amazing.
I don't know if he was aware that he was in the tavern.
No.
But,
I think from his perspective, he was wandering through the hotel. He stayed longer than some have stayed for taverns, so.
And that was my first time at a tavern in person, because I've never been to the Fitzroy.
Oh.
Or in any of its other locations. Yeah.
Huh. Let's talk a little bit about how we landed on our title.
Oh, yes.
So the original book club was the Doctor Who Book Club.
Yeah.
And we're the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club. And I, for one, like that we have an obnoxiously long podcast title. So sometimes you see it truncated as the all-new Doctor Who Book Club podcast, which is totally fine, too, based on your character limitations.
Yes.
But we were inspired to add the new adventures of, based on kind of how comics get retitled, or how, like, in television, like the show Wonder Woman became the new adventures of Wonder Woman when it switched networks.
Yeah.
Or how the live-action 1980s Superboy series became the adventures of Superboy halfway through its run.
Also, as well, by the Doctor Who books themselves, with the new adventures.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they changed title too. But I didn't want us to be called the new adventures of, because then people might get the misimpression that we were only reading the new adventures.
No.
So we added the all to the title.
Yes.
And if and when we ever pass the torch along to another group, I'd love it if the next iteration was called the Further Adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. And that version shouldn't be monetized either.
No.
And that's something we may want to talk about too. We do this podcast without witness or reward.
Yeah.
Some podcasts have Patreons and other accept donations and stuff. And with us, especially because we critique the books and we use dramatic readings of segments of the books, which is fine under fair use and copyright law, but we don't want to charge people for that or anything like that. I think a few other podcasts are like that too.
Yeah, we sometimes have samples of the audiobook, so we do have someone who is here who has unknowingly provided narration.
Oh. Yeah.
Who I may have interviewed yesterday.
She had some interesting things to say about that book too.
Yes, she was not a...
She, I think, aligned with our review of the book.
Yes, there is a Benny book in which Benny meets Peter Capaldi's Doctor. Or it's a Doctor Who book featuring Benny.
Originally written for River Song.
Yes.
And then Stephen Moffat, he said couldn't use the character.
Yes.
And he said, oh, just use Benny instead.
Yes.
And they're very different characters, although back then they were probably had a little bit more overlap.
Yeah. I gave that 7 out of 10.
I think I gave it a 4.
Yes. I do slightly regret. I think it was because I just so much enjoyed Benny and having a new Benny adventure. But I think 7 was probably a bit generous.
We do rate the books out of 10. And I try to make it a point to say out of 10 on the recording because every episode is somebody's first. And I remember, I think, listening to the TARDIS Tavern when they would rate things out of really weird rating scales, like out of 341 or something. And I never quite knew how the rating scale lined up.
Yeah.
Shall we go over some of the, not our hard and fast rules, but kind of some of the things we've set up over time?
I'm trying to remember what those are, but yes.
I have a bulleted list.
You have a list. Excellent.
One thing we do is we try to record in advance.
Yes, we do.
Even before we announce the book. And that's just to have it in hand, and in case, something goes wrong or we're not able to record, we don't want to promote something and then not be able to deliver it when we say we're going to.
Yeah.
I think the downside to that is we're ahead of where the rest of the listeners are because, surprisingly to us, people actually do read the books along with us.
Yes.
And sometimes their feedback is a little bit on a lag as a result, so that we don't always get it incorporated into the same episode. But it also allows plenty of time for editing.
Yeah.
And I feel, too, that it kind of helps it be more of a marathon and less of a sprint, where we're not frantically saying, we got to find a couple hours between our schedules to record. It still allows us to have our day jobs, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of a time difference between where I live and where Matt lives of 6 hours.
Sometimes 5, sometimes 7.
Yes. Due to random acts of George W. Bush moving when your clock's changed. It does mean that if I know there's a chance that come the last Sunday of the month, I might be doing something a few months in advance. Yeah, I sort of say, by the way, we may need to. Christmas, we tend to be a bit more flexible. Though it does mean, because like Lauren, I don't think I've ever said this, Lauren, my wife, sometimes a bit like, oh yeah, it's the last weekend, so we can't go anywhere. So,
Yeah, I've experienced the same.
yes.
Apologies, Matt and Lauren. One of our other, and I don't think we've ever mentioned this on the show, is we tried originally to say, okay, let's limit author picks to no more than 3 per person, although the longer we're doing the show.
Yeah, 3 per author.
Sorry, yeah, 3 per author. So, we don't want, but, like Steve Cole and Justin Richards have written so many Doctor Who books, they're going to tend to show up more. So that's kind of a loose guideline, I would say.
Yeah, and also as well, we take it in turns with the Doctors. So for one cycle, I pick a First Doctor book, and then Matt will pick First Doctor for the next cycle. Yeah, so there are some times where it almost gets a bit like Battleships, where you're kind of sort of like thinking, oh, I hope Matt isn't going to pick like a 4th Doctor book because I've got one in mind.
I was thinking just that when I picked the 12th Doctor American Adventures.
Yes.
I was really hoping last month you didn't pick a 12th and you picked a 5th.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the pun of the title with your trip
to
kind of coincide.
If you'd said, well, actually, could you choose another Doctor? I think I would have been happy, because at the end of each episode, we tell the listener and our co-host what book we're reading, and more often than not, that's the very first time that our co-host knows.
With a rare exception, like if it's really out of print or not available digitally, and we know one of us might need extra lead time.
Or the Star Beast.
Yeah. It's a pretty obvious pick.
Yeah.
Another thing, we don't choose novelizations. We focus on original fiction only. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other great podcasts out there covering the novelizations, both in like target story order or publication order.
Mm-hmm. We also try to see positive things in the books. I think we're clear as to what our thoughts are on the book, but we try to kind of like, to use a sporting metaphor, which I don't know whether it works in America, but we try to play the ball and not the player. Yeah. Though there's an author whose books we don't choose.
2.
Oh, yes, 2. Yes. Okay. I'm trying to think who the second one is, but I know there's definitely one that we don't. But anyway.
We also try to keep things different and exciting with a variety of picks. So we added graphic novels. We've added other ranges, such as Iris Wildtime. Mm-hmm. Between cycles, we usually do 2 to 4 picks where we go off and pick random things that we might not otherwise. And sometimes they get bored and do it in the middle of a cycle too.
Yes. Yeah.
But we added, Iris, you seem to pick the Benny books whenever possible, which there are a lot of them. So
yeah, I like Benny. That's fine.
We did a Torchwood book. We've even done a class book.
Yes, that was really good.
It was, The Stone House.
Yeah, one of the things that has been great about reading Doctor Who books is like sometimes I've been exposed to new authors, and I am blanking on the name of the it's A.K. Benedict, isn't it? Yeah, and she is a fantastic horror writer with this. There's this general creepiness. It's kind of almost like an East London Stephen King vibe to her book.
Mark Morris is another real horror author.
Yes. Yeah.
Whom you have had encounters with, I think, outside of the Doctor Who context, right?
I have, yeah, because Lauren, my other half, is a horror writer, and so I've occasionally gone to horror cons, and so I've met Mark Morris, and I think I've met A.K. Benedict at a horror con.
One area we haven't really explored yet, I'd like to get to at some point, is some of the original audio fiction done by BBC Audio, as well as the Big Finish long-form audio novels, of which they have 7 now. Yeah. And like one, I think in particular, the Sarah Jane Adventures had 10 or 12 short stories, but I struggle with how I would package that up because, well, I could listen to 12 one-hour stories.
Yes.
I don't know that you would appreciate that necessarily, but we have to kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
Like we've picked Telos novellas.
Yes.
Which it's like, okay, a novella is shorter than a novel, but do we do 2? Do we do 3? Do we just do 1? We settled on 2, which I think worked fairly well.
Yeah, it does.
Same with the Target originals.
Yeah, but because I'm often reading the books on the train, and Listener, I don't know if you have experienced the London Underground, but it's a very noisy place. And so, like, listening to podcasts or audio is almost impossible, at least for me. So I think I am very open to do it, but I would just need to assign time. And because I have learnt, having had because I like running, and having had a near miss whilst running, listening to Big Finish, I am not really wanting to do running outdoors whilst listening to an audiobook, because the drivers of London, they don't stop for no one.
One of the other things we try to do is kind of have a healthy mix of in-print and out-of-print books. We want to be accessible, and we try to pick things that are like out in Kindle or have an Audible version. But maybe this is because I have like pretty much a full set of all the books. I don't care about that as much, and I try to. I want to share and uncover like the rare treasure that doesn't get talked about so often. But it is kind of a consideration. We want our listenership to be able to read along with us if they want to.
Yeah, because you were saying about rare treasure. I mean, one of the things I really appreciate about what we do is we will sometimes highlight a book that people don't really know much about because it's out of print. So like, one of my favourite books that we've read in recent years is Bad Therapy by Matt Jones. It's a new adventure, and that's a really poignant read. And that was this year, wasn't it?
It was, or
I have
last year.
picked a good book this year.
Or within the last year.
Yeah, within the last year.
Technically last year.
Yes, but this is true. Because like Matt was saying the other day that I have picked interesting novels recently.
Chris's track record is a little bit more mixed in terms of whether we like the book. But again, I feel like when we read a quote-unquote bad novel, we still find good things to say about it. And at least for me, it's it's still an enjoyable experience, and it sometimes makes the podcast more interesting when it's...
Because we do discuss the plot, which is the reason why we wait typically at least 2 years after a book has been published before doing it. So we don't want anybody kind of going, hey, you cannibalize our sales. Because I know of people who listen to us so that they can enjoy a Doctor Who plot. The same way, I listen to a podcast called Random Trek, and so that I kind of I find out about a Star Trek thing, but without actually having to watch it. And sometimes I might kind of go, you know what, I really want to go and enjoy that one for myself, or I'm just going to go, no, that sounds like a Voyager episode.
There's some good Voyager episodes.
Really? I'm sure there must be, given that there were 7 seasons
of TNG, DS9, and Voyager.
Yes.
I like all 3 of them, although I might pick a DS9 or TNG episode over a Voyager one.
Fair enough.
Depending. We also have ventured into short story anthologies.
Yes, we have.
The challenge with those is they tend to be kind of a middling mixed bag. And more often than not, our anthology scores are like in the 5s or 6s because we're like, well, we like half the stories.
Yes, yeah. Some stories can be brilliant and some less so. But there's been some really interesting experimental short stories. So one of Virgin's short story collections, there is a short story by Paul Cornell featuring the return of the Candyman from the Happiness Patrol, and it is told entirely in iambic pentameter, which is what Shakespeare's scripts are written in.
Fun fact, Kenneth Johnson wrote his screenplay V in iambic pentameter.
Yes. Because the idea is it helps the actors learn because there is a precise rhythm to it. We have also done short story compilations by...
a single author.
Yeah, by a single author. So as we're doing for February, there's a fantastic Irish author called Dave Rudden who has done 2 Christmas-themed anthologies featuring a variety of different doctors and monsters. And there's a lot of different styles.
And he's recently written one of the 60th anniversary novellas featuring the 10th Doctor and Donna in kind of like a Spice Girls plot, sort of 1990s.
Yeah. And he's been a guest. Because we have had the occasional guest. We have had Dave come on to talk to us about his then upcoming anthology. Yeah, because we typically don't chase after guests. We're happy enough, busy enough doing our own stuff. But there have been some times where people like Graham Burke have sort of said, well, I could come on and talk. And I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and Dave Rudden, by the way, would make a fantastic console room guest.
Yes.
I've put that bug in Jason's ear to say, hey.
Yes, he describes himself as a time-traveling Viking, and he is a fantastic storyteller. He also, as well, teaches writing. He's an all-round good egg, is Dave.
We also try to keep the length of our episodes to somewhere between 1 to 2 hours, and I would say closer to the 60-minute mark, the better.
Yes.
Although most of ours, around 90, maybe.
The early stuff would sometimes go a bit long.
And I do tend to trim about 15 to 20 minutes per episode. We have pre-show conversation, post-show. Sometimes we'll go off on a tangent and it won't really go anywhere. And it's like, oh, we may as well just
skip that
that little bit. But it helps keep the episode focused. And hopefully it helps keep the listener's attention engaged too. Do you have any favorite episodes or books that we've done?
Any favorite episodes or books? I've really enjoyed Who Killed Kennedy, because that's a very unusual book. Yeah, and it does interesting things with unit continuity, but it is very much telling its own story. So it's not just continuity for continuity's sake.
Kind of modeled on the graphic novel by Alex Ross, Marvels, from the early 90s. And it is available free legally from the New Zealand Doctor Who fan club website. With a brand new ending. So if you haven't read it, or if it's been a while since you've read it, would highly recommend that one. Yeah. It's written from the perspective of a reporter kind of reporting on the alien invasions that Earth is experiencing across like the second, third, and into the fourth Doctor. Yeah. And mostly focused on the Pertwee era.
Yes.
But yeah, really exciting stuff.
Yeah. How about you?
I really enjoyed the Assimilation Squared episode, the Star Trek episode. I also really liked our 3 short trips episodes because we did all 3 books in the series. Yep. We've yet to do a Virgin Decalogue.
Yes.
But maybe that'll happen someday in the future. But I really liked that and kind of the whole TARDIS timer format. Almost like a lightning round.
Yeah.
We should mention, too, like our recaps, much like the original show, where available, we'll try and source our recaps from like the Doctor Who reference guide or the TARDIS wiki. Yeah. But especially with a lot of the new series stuff, Chris, you end up writing a lot of our recaps.
Yes.
And I've done 1 or 2, but I think yours are a little bit better. Mine are very like straightforward, like this happened, then this happened.
Yes. Yeah. I try and have like a narrative flow and stuff. But yeah, but also as well, it helps if the book is interesting, because there are sometimes it's like, oh, no. Because there was a 13th Doctor book, was it Molten Heart?
Oh, yeah, by Una McCormack.
Yeah, by Una McCormack, which I was not to my taste. It featured a hollow planet and loads of rock creatures that all had different names after different types of rock.
And gemstones, so you'd have like ruby and quartz and sapphire.
Yeah.
Not like sapphire and steel, but
no.
I really liked it because it was very 80s cartoon feeling.
Yes, and I hated it for that same reason. Yeah.
So those are fun episodes too where we really disagree, because our tastes don't always align.
No.
Like Chris is one of the rare minority that doesn't like Heaven Sent.
Yeah, I found Heaven Sent a bit smug, and because I like Doctor Who to have character and interactions. Yeah, I think our tastes are not wildly dissimilar.
I like the Chibnall era a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and I like horror more, though there are some times where, if I'm reading a book where I can kind of sense, Matt's probably going to be enjoying this a lot more than me. And like Matt, when you're reading, if you realise that there's a quest narrative, I'm going to hate it.
Yeah. I tend to like slice of life sort of stories where they're really slow and like the Also People.
Yeah.
Although we
not read that.
Yeah, the other podcast did. But yeah, that's one other thing we should mention is we don't repeat any of the 60 books that the original show has done. And there's been a couple of times where our picks were like, oh, we forgot they actually read it.
Including quite recently. So
I almost would have rather have reread that one instead.
Yes. Because The King of Terror by Keith Topping was not what I had in mind. I don't know if it was what Keith Topping had in mind.
Another episode I really enjoyed was the two Telos two-parters we've done. I almost want to do another one of those someday too, especially the two that take place before An Unearthly Child. Frayed, not so much, but I really enjoyed Time and Relative by Kim Newman.
Yeah.
And then I thought the two second Doctor ones we read were so different.
Yes.
One of those in particular, I think the 1960s San Francisco one
Yeah.
was quite good.
Yes. Though there are sometimes, if I'm reading a book and if I'm feeling it's not really capturing that Doctor, I'm going thinking, gosh, it's going to be like 17, 18 months before we encounter this Doctor again.
Well, some Doctors we may have to take out of rotation because we'll run out of things to review for them, too.
Yes.
Like, there's not a lot of Ninth Doctor stuff left.
No.
And 13th Doctor doesn't have...
No, comics and things. But
Yeah.
There's definitely a limitation.
And War Doctor, we've exhausted everything.
Well, we exhausted that with our first episode.
Yeah.
Because there's only one War Doctor novel.
There's a charity anthology, I think, called Seasons of War as well. But with the exception of, I think, Campaign, we haven't done any unpublished.
Yes.
And that was a weird book.
So Campaign, I don't know if people know about Campaign, so I am getting a nod from one member of our audience. So Campaign was a First Doctor book that Jim Mortimer wrote. He'd sent in... It seems as if he'd sent in a synopsis and then he wrote a somewhat different book that was kind of like with somebody trapped inside, the crew trapped inside the TARDIS and being attacked by word puzzles.
Very surreal, like Land of Fiction. And he brought in every iteration, every draft that the First Doctor team went through. So when Susan was called Sue English or Barbara was called something else.
Yeah,
all sorts of different characters, and it got really dark, and it's a memorable read.
It's probably one of our more memorable books, but I mean,
I don't know that I'd ever want to read it again.
It's a bit like there's a literary novel called The House of Leaves, which is very similar to by all accounts, but I do like it when the books go experimental, though that was not my cup of tea.
Well, there's good experimental, and then there's Dave Stone experimental.
I think we read one Dave Stone that was quite good. It was the Heart of TARDIS.
The Simpsons.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because there's a book called Heart of TARDIS that is partially set in America and has the second Doctor and the fourth Doctor are both in the novel. So I kind of counted it as a non-Doctor pick because it wasn't specifically either of them because they're both in it equally.
And you've done that a few times where you've kind of taken advantage of that slot to do a multi-Doctor type story.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a novelization of the 5, 2, or 3 Doctors.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the audience or any books that recommendations or?
Oh, Rome? Yes.
Was it the Stone Rose?
Yes.
Availability for those can be harder to come by too.
Yeah.
So the question was, or the book that she recommended was the Stone Rose.
Yes, Stone Rose.
By Jacqueline Rayner.
Yes.
Which
we've read.
We have read that one. That one has an abridged audio adaptation by David Tennant. He does a fantastic Jackie Tyler. There's one thing we try to use excerpts from, for dramatic readings that are unabridged, but occasionally we've had to use abridged readings.
None are available otherwise.
Yeah, if none are available or if we can't get a dramatic reader.
Yeah.
I think we've only had to do that once or twice. But that's interesting in of itself because if you have the book to follow along, you can see how things are collapsed and abridged, and you still get the point across. Maybe Ghosts of India was another.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I know we also on the Bennies we've done Oh No It Isn't, which has a Big Finish adaptation, but that's very much a kind of an abridged version.
Also adapted by Jacqueline Rayner, who wrote Stone Rose.
Yes.
And Star Beast too, right?
Well, yes, Star Beast.
Where we used the Big Finish trailer for that because we could have found a dramatic reader, but having Tom Baker read the lines in a promotional trailer works just fine.
Yes. Over this weekend, I've been listening to Walk into Babylon, which is a Big Finish Benny audio and was originally a Virgin Benny novel. Yeah, and that's a novel that's a bit hard to come by, but the audio is there's definitely a couple of subplots I vaguely remember that aren't in there, but still, it's a very good way of experiencing that book.
And that's, I think, part 2 of the Time Ring trilogy.
Yeah.
And the
Part
third,
one.
or part one?
Yes.
Okay. And then Just War is another part, which that has a really good adaptation.
Yeah.
And that one, Jacqueline Rayner was also tasked with removing the Doctor
Yeah.
from the plot.
Yeah.
Because that first season of Benny are kind of all adaptations. And
Yes.
the ones that are from her line of books, the Doctor doesn't have to be removed, but
Yeah.
otherwise they do.
Yeah.
A Benny book that I really enjoyed was Beige Planet Mars. Although I don't recall you liking it quite as much as I did.
But I remember being a bit disappointed by it because that was to celebrate the beige anniversary of Doctor Who, and it tries to reference like a lot of different fictions of Mars. Yeah.
One of the biggest surprises for me, I think, has been the Iris Wildtime range. I've become more of a fan of that through
Yes.
the podcast than I was previously, for sure.
Yeah, because I remember the first Paul Mars book I read when I was like 19 or 20, I really didn't like, which is Scarlet Empress. And I haven't reread it since, but I think that the issue was with me rather than with the text. Because one of my favourite books that we've done is Verdigris by Paul Mars, which has Iris encountering the Third Doctor in Unit.
And Joe.
Yeah, and it's a laugh riot. And one thing that was a real lovely surprise from that was that Paul Mars said on social media about how much he'd enjoyed our dramatic reading and the episode, and that he thanked us for shining a light on a book that had been published like 20 odd years ago.
Yeah, we've occasionally gotten recognition from authors like that, which has been wonderful. Although sometimes I worry that some of the books we didn't like I think, oh, if the authors hear this. But we try to be respectful and critique the work and not the person, right? And it is what it is with a review show is sometimes our opinions differ and there'll be things that aren't to our tastes.
Yeah, some of the authors, if you hear them at conventions, they themselves will say, yeah. Because they're having to do this work to deadline, and sometimes, as the show has shown over the years, that sometimes working to deadline produces amazing things like the War Games, and sometimes it produces Time Flight.
Yeah, and sometimes the authors are busy being script editor in Cardiff.
Yes.
And have other things on their plate. So
yes.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite dramatic readings, I've got a few, but in terms of how well they turned out, I really like the Star Trek one, The Assimilation Squared. I really like the Missy reading from the Missy Chronicles. I mean, the reader for that one, Alia, she sounds exactly like Michelle Gomez.
To non-Scottish ears, she sounds exactly.
To my American ears, she sounds.
Yes. My wife, who is Scottish Australian, sort of said, it's not Michelle Gomez. I was like, yeah, okay, but certainly, sorry, that's damning very faint praise. I mean, she's really captures the spirit, absolutely captures the spirit. And speaking of Scottish readings, we have there's a Capaldi book that we did, Plague City, with a reader for that who was from Edinburgh, and the Plague City is Edinburgh, and it is not during a recent plague, but during the Black Death period, or maybe a little bit later.
You have the Capaldi Doctor being one of the plague doctors.
Yes, yeah, and I mean that was a book that was always going to be very much in my wheelhouse because I love Edinburgh and also horror.
I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. I mean, there were bits of humour in there, but I mean that was a particularly fantastic reading.
And that book also had really strong LGBTQ plus representation. There was like a old Scottish lesbian couple from like 400 or 500 years ago.
Yeah, it was, and also reminds me that we did have a period when, which still sometimes happens, if we've picked a book and then we suddenly see it being reflected in the news, which is why for a few years at the start of this decade, I was resisting picking Plague City because, we have enough plague in real life, and there's a Cartmel book called Atom Blues.
Or Atom Bomb Blues.
Yeah, Atom Bomb Blues. And we're going we don't want to do that.
I think we're just about at time.
Yes.
Thank you so much for attending. And hope you enjoy the rest of Console Room in the weekend. Mm-hmm. And until next time, this has been Matt in Minnesota.
Chris in Minnesota. Happy reading and stay safe.
Thank you for listening to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. Special thanks to George C. Music for use of their song Doctor Who Theme Swing Jazz Version. You can follow us on Twitter at ANDWBC Podcast and like us on Facebook. Help other listeners to find us by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. You can contact the show by emailing your thoughts to andwbcpodcast@gmail.com. And until next month, happy reading.
Live from Console Room.
Huzzah!
Woo! Chris, how's it going? This is... Oh, right. First mistake already. This is Matt in Minnesota.
This is Chris in Minnesota. It sounds like there's a body being dragged outside, so apologies if that's being picked up on the audio. Hopefully it's not.
I think they're starting to pack up some of the convention stuff.
Oh, okay, fine.